What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Acro, and this is the DJI Avata 360. I've had this drone for a couple of months now, and this is the first video that I'm releasing on this drone. And it's definitely different, right? We've got the 360-degree camera there. We've got this Avata-style body shape, and DJI markets this as the last drone that you'll need. And in some cases, that's true, but this drone is very different, and there are some things you need to know about this drone and 360 drones or cameras in general. So I've got 10 things that I need to tell you about this drone if you're considering this, or even maybe the anti-gravity drone, or even just a 360-degree camera, because they don't operate the same way that a traditional drone or camera does, and there are some things you need to know. So that's why I'm here. Okay, before I get started, let me just tell you a little bit more about this drone. It is obviously a 360-degree camera drone, but it also has some other features. You can see we've got obstacle avoidance sensors and cameras right there in the front. These two lenses, they're both 4K, so we have 8K 60. That's pretty fantastic, and that is a giant camera, right? These are dual 1.1-inch sensors, each one capable of 64 megapixels. You get a flight time of up to 23 minutes, and it's using DJI's new O4 Plus system, which gives it 20 kilometers of range. That's 12.4 miles. All right, so let's get back to what we came here for. Okay, so today specifically, I'm talking about the DJI 360, but some of these things are just true of 360-degree cameras. They're awesome. You get great footage. You can see everything. You can figure out your shot afterwards. But this comes with some caveats. And the first is, if you film something with this drone, just to get the video off the drone and to wherever you're going to use it, there are more steps involved. Even if you're, say, doing, I don't know, like a selfie or a droney. Yeah, that's right. This video didn't record as an MP4. I had to convert it before I could drop it into this video I'm showing you now. Because this is a 360-degree drone, you're capturing everything at once. So you want to look around. You want to see what is the best angle. Is the angle that I thought, the one that I want to use. You're going to spend some time reframing your shots. You are adding time to your workflow with this drone. 100%. That is a fact that's going to happen. Again, even if you're just using the shots as they are. Let's say you just use quick shots. You still have to convert that file into a usable file so that you can edit that video. Or even if you don't want to edit that video, so that you can use that video. And if you're going to edit that video and you like to use your computer like I do, well, you better have a new one. You better have a powerful one. You better have one that can handle the video coming out of this, because a 360-degree video, it's a beast. It's a larger file. You need a machine that is built to handle video editing. It's got to handle 2 4K images, an 8K video. That's a lot. So if you want to do this, if you want to edit on your computer, you need to have a pretty decent one. Now, you can edit in the app on your phone, which is great. I'm not a big fan of the small interface. I just like the freedom of being able to sit down on a computer on a big screen and edit. So just know you need a pretty solid machine to do that. And if you're gonna do that, you need to learn some new software. It's not super complicated, but again, if you want to keyframe it, you want to change the aspect ratio, or you want to change the angle of the camera, you gotta learn how to do that. And it's not super tricky, and I'll probably make a video on how to do that with DJI's new software, but you gotta do that. And right now you can't use Insta360 software. I tried. Actually, I can edit a photo in the Insta360 Studio, which I learned how to use, but now you learn DJI's version to deal with their videos. And since we're talking about videos, and I already kind of mentioned it, 360-degree videos, they're big, right? We're talking 2 4K cameras. These are 1.1-inch sensors. These things are huge, and they're capturing a ton of information. So you need a high-quality SD card and a bigger one. Yes, this does have onboard storage. I believe it is 42 gigs of onboard storage, but you need more than that because these files are big. And speaking of big, this thing is not small. When we compare it to the Avata 2, which I thought was also a large FPV drone, it is substantially larger, right? It is a bigger drone. It is a heavier drone. This guy is 455 grams, so it is certainly not close to the 250 gram threshold for a mini drone. So just know that. I don't think that's a big deal, but you do have to register this with the FAA, and yes, it does have remote ID. Since we're comparing it to the Avata 2, I really like this drone, probably my favorite, because I can do a lot of different things with this. I can fly this in Acro mode or manual mode and do flips and rolls and capture some really unique footage. Avata 360 is not an Acro drone. It will not fly in manual mode. And does it need to? Probably not, right? Because you can add those flips and rolls in post-processing. But again, that takes more time. So just know that getting in. I don't think a lot of people really want this to fly in manual mode. I mean, I would, but I'm probably not in the majority here. I like just the sweeping motion of manual mode, even if I'm not doing flips and rolls. There's just something about that slow sweeping motion that you can do when the drone isn't snapping back to level on you. So even if you don't fly flips and rolls, it would have been nice to do a manual mode, like an easy Acro or an Acro trainer. That would have been cool, but it's not in the cards for this guy. Kind of on that note, it just isn't as agile as this, the Avata 2. I mean, it's bigger, it's larger, it's got these giant prop guards on it, which I like. I like the prop guards. They do help you, they help avoid obstacles. They did save me once, you know, because it's a big drone. These prop guards will catch the wind. You know, it's just not super agile. And yeah, you know, people are probably in the comments already saying, well, just throw it in FPV mode and you get that same swooping agile motion. You don't when you throw it into single lens mode like this, right? Because then it automatically sets the gimbal to FPV, but I found that to be darn near unusable because the drone had to fight the wind. You know, I found that FPV mode actually worked better when it was in 360. So there's that. It just isn't as agile as I would have liked for a drone that calls itself an Avata. So when I think of Avata, I think of this, and this thing is fairly agile. No, it's not like 5-inch ripper agile, but it's good enough. So another thing to note, right, because we're using two 360-degree cameras, there's always a stitch line somewhere, and it's not always visible. And sometimes this guy will fly forward, right? I had it circling my car, and it was using the side of the camera to film that because it wanted to use these front obstacle avoidance sensors, which is a great idea. But just kind of note as you're looking through your footage, you may see some of those stitch lines, and that's really kind of a bummer. It's not always a thing, and for the most part, DJI software does a really nice job of getting rid of it. It's just not 100% of the time. That brings me to my last point, this 360-degree camera, these lenses, so important that you keep them clean. Microfiber cloth, do not use your t-shirt. Always have a microfiber cloth to keep them clean because one speck of dust, even, you know, on the edge, will ruin your video. And worse than that, if you crash this or you scratch that lens, you have to replace it. It just makes pretty much everything unusable. And get yourself one of these, a landing pad. If you buy the combo with the screen-in controller, which I absolutely love, it comes with a landing pad, and that landing pad is clutch. Don't land this thing on pavement. Don't land it on your patio. Don't land it in the grass, because while it does rotate the lens up, right, we just have some tiny feet, and the bottom of that lens is susceptible to scratches. Just don't chance it. Get a landing pad. They're inexpensive, or they come with the kit. Just gonna save you time, money, and you'll be less frustrated in the future. Overall, I do have to say I really do like this drone, but you just kind of have to know some things about 360-degree drones before you buy one. I mean, I was putting 360-degree cameras on drones long time ago. It is super fun, and I'm glad that DJI finally did it themselves. So kudos to them. I'm excited. I've got some really cool content coming out on this. I'm taking it with me on vacation. Anyway, was this helpful? Did it help you understand the Avata 360? I have more content on this drone and other drones as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So good luck and happy flying.